Hello, my name is Kevin Sullivan. I'm president of the AML Training Academy and Advisory, located at amltrainer.com, and I'm here to answer a few questions for Apress Publishing about the second edition release of my book, Anti-Money Laundering in a Nutshell. Well, money. I thought I'd write a bestseller, have Hollywood pick it up, Russell Crowe play me in a movie version, and I retire to Hollywood to start my surfing career. But seriously though, having been on both sides of the fence in law enforcement and on the financial institution side of the money laundering issue, it has provided me with an interesting perspective and insight into the AML scene. I felt that this information could be advantageous and beneficial to people in the financial crime industry. This is not just a standard book of AML answers and descriptions, but I've taken a deeper dive into the nomenclature, reasoning, and the descriptions of the very large field of AML. My thought process was to provide a much bigger and detailed picture of AML. I wrote this not just to have the readers comply with AML regulations, but to truly understand why anti-money laundering is important to us and how it affects each and every one of us. There are a lot of bad people and bad groups out there that rely on money laundering to fund their ability to ruin lives and hurt people. We should all be aware of the ramifications of money laundering. I've always maintained that the vast majority of crimes are committed for some form of profit. As far as law enforcement goes, each felony-level crime should have a corresponding money laundering investigation. The concept being that the bad guy not only goes to jail, but any illegal profit that he made, the government can seize. There's nothing better than seeing the bad guy cry his little eyes out as his Ferrari is being towed away, then sold at auction, and the money being used for good and charitable deeds. And as far as the financial institutions world is concerned, it is important for them to understand the extent of the depravity of the criminal and or the organized crime world. Most people have a hard time conceptualizing bad guys doing bad deeds. I mean, who could ever have thought about planes flying into buildings? But that is why I think it's important to bring a dose of reality, as painful as it might be, to the private financial sector. So far, this book has received wonderful reviews, and I really appreciate that very much. I am very happy that people have learned about money laundering and anti-money laundering. There is nothing better to me than that light bulb moment when a reader says to himself, now I understand. I wrote this in a very conversational style, as if having a conversation with the reader was my goal. I did not want to write something full of legal jargon and 5-syllable words derived from some old Latin dialect that nobody understands. This was meant to help you, not to confuse you. I wanted to appear that we were sitting up at the bar having a casual conversation. Well, in fact, I was drinking when I wrote it, so there may be a few times when I ramble on about nonsense. But basically, other than that, it is direct and to the point. Between the book covers, there are many useful tools and antidotes that can be quite fruitful for both AML training, due diligence, and compliance. Additionally, there have been many individuals studying for various financial crimes certification programs who have informed me how beneficial the book was to their certification process. My main piece of advice when taking the exam: sit next to somebody smart. That's how I did it. But seriously though, there is a lot of pertinent information in the book to help those who will be sitting for the various exams. So I hope you enjoy the book, and stay tuned for the next one, my first novel about undercover narcotics and money laundering with a few fun and some very harrowing descriptions of those days. So thank you and stay safe.